Fabrics. Selecting the right fabric for the Cathedral Window project is the most exciting and overwhelming part of the work. In the following lessons, we will learn more about fabrics in order to choose with confidence. Types of fabric: cotton, silk, linen, sheer. Pure 100% cottons are top of the list for Cathedral Window, but there are other fabrics that can be used particularly for the window. Think of your stash. Silks and satins will work using for the wonderful sheen and glamour they create. Sheets can create some lovely special effects. Linens add texture to the work, stabilize soft and silky fabric by backing them with fusible interfacing before cutting out the window to prevent the edge unraveling while you work. Hand-dyed, custom printed, painted, and embroidered fabric. There are lots of options when it comes to designing your own fabric. You can use fruits, vegetables, flowers, and other natural elements to create gorgeous natural colors for dye. Or make things a little easier on yourself and go with the pre-mixed dyes. You can design the print yourself in Photoshop or similar, for example, and then send it to an online printing company to get it digitally printed. You can paint or embroider your fabric to create your unique vision. Pre-cuts. Fabric is available in pre-cut sizes too. You can find 4/4, 3/4, 5/8, thin edge, 5 inches square, 10 inches square, strip in different widths, triangles, rectangles, and more. This pre-cut can save you time in measuring and cutting, and many quilt patterns have been designed using them. How to choose the fabric? By type for the base. When you start a project, you should first think about the base of the wall of the Cathedral Window work and then about the window. If you choose the classic method, it is convenient to work with fabrics that do not shrink, since when pressing the unit could be deformed and it would spoil all the work. It is best to use fabric that are not too crisp to allow an easy folding. By type for the window. In the selection of fabric for the window, you have so many possibilities since the fabric ends up wrapped around the folded frames. You can also use stabilizers for thin or transparent fabric. Anyway, it is best to experiment on a small scale until you see the results of your choices and then start with the project itself, avoiding wasting the fabric or ruining a project leaving it unfinished. By color. I prefer working with muslin and quilting fabrics. I usually dye them muslin and use plain colors to highlight the design. I reserve silk and organza for very special projects and I don't use them frequently. But you can achieve incredible results in shine and texture. I like to combine muslin with light linens that give a fine texture to the work too. And about the color selection, you'll find all the info in the color theory section. Preparing the fabrics. Washing the fabrics, pressing the fabrics. If you think a fabric may shrink or bleed color when washed, then wash separately before you use it in warm water and mild detergent. Rinse the fabric in cold water, dry, and then press. Once washed, straighten fabric by hand to re-establish the fabric grain, pulling it from opposite corners. Pressing fabric. Iron fabrics at the appropriate temperature to remove creases before use, so measuring and cutting will be more accurate. Steam from the iron can be used on stubborn creases, so take care that you don't straighten the store by its edges. Spray starch is useful to stabilize fabric and give more body. Preparing for cutting. Preparing edges. Check all fabric pieces for straight edges. If fabric isn't straight, use your roller decoller and ruler to trim it. Trim off the selvage, that is the tightly woven edge of fabric. Using fabric grain. Fabrics are made with lengthwise threads, called warp threads, and crosswise threads, called weft threads. Warp threads are on the straight grain and are the strongest with the least stretch. Weft threads are also firm, but with a little more give. A 45-degree angle to these threads is the bias grain, which has the least strength and the most stretch. Cutting sewn fabric on the straight grain causes the least stretch and distortion, which means that units will align more accurately. When edges are on the bias, they are likely to distort and stretch with handle and pressing, which in our case in Cathedral window technique are useful to make the frames of the window. Check the indication on the templates about grain, line, and bias direction.